Like a good day. It's a good day because we're back. Yes. It has been a long break. If you have missed it, or if you haven't noticed, well, shame on you. I've noticed it. I've not been here. It's been odd. I'm used to being here. I like being here. It's part of what I do. It's part of my routine. But today is Wednesday and we're back, and I'm happy to say that we are going to bring you an hour worth of traffic talk. Questions and answers and stuff and things. It's the 26th. It's Wednesday, the 26th of April. April's almost done, and it feels like I had ice pellets on my truck. I had doors that didn't want to open this morning. I don't know how it was for you, but it was not feeling very nice. I was really used to the whole shorts and t-shirt thing, and that didn't happen. Not today, and I miss it. I already miss it. I need warm weather. I think that's what everyone needs. Michael was in here ahead of the show, throwing questions into the YouTube chat. And apparently his week did not start off well. So he's looking forward to the live. And as am I. Good morning to, he says, good morning, Sean, guest if any, mysterious JD, and Mrs. Shapiro. So everyone's got a greeting. If you're watching, you want to know how to ask questions, if you want to know how to get involved with the show, because this really is a show that's all about you. If you don't ask questions, we just talk about the random things that are in my mind, and that can be scary. So if you want to ask questions, jump into the chat using YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, well, actually, Instagram has a Q&A function that you can use, the question mark in the bubble that ensures that I can see the question. But on TikTok, we have JD, the producer, who is in the office and making sure that your questions get pasted into the feed that I'm looking at. Because although I can look over here and I see Jennifer and Emma and Susie and Maverick who are here in the chat, I can't always monitor the chat, so it gets difficult. For those who don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. And of course, I do this Ask a Traffic Cop thing where we go live answering your questions for an hour on weekdays. Of course, I always say when I decide to show up for work. And yesterday I had an offsite meeting. On Monday, I had some family stuff, so I was not here. And this is the first show of the week. And it's going to be a short week because we're just going to do today, tomorrow, and Friday, or Friday. But still, I'm very happy to be here. So let's start off with what we always start off with when I remember, and that is Vision Zero Enforcement Team. What do the magical folks at Vision Zero Enforcement Team do? Well, first off, they are a dedicated team of officers who go out and conduct enforcement activities throughout our city. They handle different or focus on different areas of the city every single day, and that is based on the intelligence provided by our analysts to say which areas need focus. Today, that focus is being carried out in 32 Division and 33 Division. Those are the neighborhoods of Downsview, Willowdale, Newtonbrook, Bathurst Manor, Parkwoods, Donalda, Bayview Village, and York Mills. Neighborhoods where real people live, work, and play. If it was your neighborhood, you'd want to know we were there too, because we're there making it safer for you and your family and your friends. I can't stress enough that the activities that people choose to engage in when they're driving make the roads less safe for everybody else. Now, the specific types of activities or behaviors that they are focused on looking for: speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving, because those behaviors lead to serious injury and death on our roads. We know it. It's proven. It is what it is. That's what we do. Now, that's not to say that they look away from anything else, but they focus on the stuff that's most important. People say, why do we announce where we're going to be? Don't you tell people that you're going to be there and they can slow down, just like a radar detector allows people to avoid poor behavior temporarily? Yeah, but I don't think the people who are choosing to break the law are focused on our channel. I think that the people who subscribe to our Twitter, our LinkedIn, our Facebook, all of those people, well, they are likely people who agree with us or want to learn or want to be better. And the real focus on the people on the posts are to get the information to the people who want to know that they're safer, their communities are safer today. That's it. So if you want to follow along, if you want to get these notifications, make sure you're subscribed to our Twitter channel, Traffic Services. We also post it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find our pages on all those platforms. In fact, if you go to TrafficHopca.ca or use the code right there, that'll take you to my Linktree. And on my Linktree, you can go and check out all sorts of things. But since I'm talking about Linktree, what a great opportunity for me to actually show you what the Linktree looks like. TrafficHop.ca takes you to this page here. And I'm a little bit slower to the Chrome tab. That's what I want. Linktree. Here we go. It takes you right here. And you can check out all sorts of stuff like our channels, You can get my personal ones. You can get, here, listen to me on Totally Useless Information. I was just on an episode that's currently available of Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. They are a great bunch of guys. Nick's a producer on News Talk 1010, which is how we met. And I was on his podcast, which also airs on the radio, but you can watch or listen. You can't watch it because it's audio only, but you can listen to it. And it was very interesting. I had fun doing it. I think you'd have fun listening to it. Now, if we move on, the traffic services links, Toronto Police General links. Hey, you get in a collision and you're a pedestrian and cyclist, you can actually start that report online and only go to a collision reporting center to complete it. But there's a whole bunch of things you can do. And it's just access to information. So here, renew your license plate, driver's license check. If you're loaning your vehicle to a friend, you want to make sure they actually have a license because that's a problem. Here's the laws on e-bikes and e-kick scooters. You want to buy a car, make sure it's not stolen. This is the kind of information that you can get by going here. And TrafficHop.ca. That's it. That's all. We'll move on. Actually, I should put a link, and I'm going to do that right after the show. I'm going to put a link to the Harley raffle. Why? Because the Harley raffle in support of Special Olympics is actually underway. And I keep saying I'm going to buy my tickets, and I still haven't. I feel bad. But here's the this is what you will see if you go to harleyraffle.ca. You can buy one ticket for 20, 3 for 50, or 8 for 100, and that's of course what I'm going to do because I like deals, and 8 for 100 is the best deal. A friend of mine won the bike a couple of years ago, and I've been jealous ever since. Actually, I'm not jealous. I'm really happy for him. But that is now no one can say, did you mention it yet? Because now I've mentioned it. Okay, we've covered off everything I needed to talk about and more. Actually, the only thing I didn't talk about is becoming a member of the Toronto Police Service. If you're interested in becoming a member of the Toronto Police, we are hiring. We're always hiring. But we're looking for good candidates to work in various areas of our service. Of course, we're looking for police officers, parking enforcement officers, special constables, but we're also looking for people in different civilian roles. So what kind of civilian role am I talking about? That's a good question. Let's go to tps.ca /careers, and we'll see what's currently posted. And then for realsy, I'm going to move on to actually answering your traffic and police questions. So here you see the front and center. We've got Erin Urquhart, who's TPS Bike Cart. If you don't already follow her, you should, because she's got great information that she is all too happy to share with all of you. So check out TPS Bike Cart, and that's I'm covering all sorts of information. I'm on fire. I actually got like an extra 30 minutes of sleep. That's exactly what I'm attributing to this magical boost of energy that I'm dealing with. I can't find my mouse. Where's my mouse? There's my mouse. I want to take away this. There we go. Okay. So police constable lateral hire. So you're a police officer from another service, you can certainly apply. Special constable, parking enforcement officer, comms operator, but civilian roles is where I like to focus when we're here chatting about stuff and things. Intermediate technical analyst, repair services, senior analyst, for Azure integration platforms, payroll operations lead, logistics and equipments clerk. I added an S to equipments. It's like the people who call it the Toronto Police Services. Nothing bothers me more than listening to the radio and hearing Toronto Police Services as opposed to the Toronto Police Service, because we're not the services, we're the service. Anyway, my pet peeves I share with you so they can become your pet peeves. We've got senior programmer, human capital management, senior technical analyst, network and security infrastructure, project coordinator, facilities management, legal counsel, solutions architect, the YIPPY program, which is Youth in Policing Initiative After School Fall Program. That's where they pay kids from certain neighborhoods to come in and learn stuff and things about policing, and comms operator. These are civilian roles. They change all the time. The window for applying for them is usually about a week long, sometimes a lot more, sometimes less. You got to check frequently if you're interested in working for us and you are looking for a job in one of these roles. Well, it could be a different role next week, but check it out. That's it. Moving along. Okay. I want to take away. I stay stuffing things. Thanks, Sean. Volley is almost gone. Volley is disappearing. So we used to have Volley. Volley was something that was really awesome. I still haven't, that's the wrong button. Still haven't gotten into bringing in the Discord the way I had Volley set up so you could send me video, voice, or text. That functionality, I believe, will work with Discord. You can join our Discord community by using, again, TrafficHopca or scanning that code. But come join us and hang out and talk about amongst yourselves. Yeah. Now, it's probably a mistake to have carbonated stuff as I'm speaking, but oh well. Okay, let's get into some questions. First of all, the nine-tailed fox, Alex says, good morning. Akela coming in with greetings and salutations. And see, I knew it was going to happen. Akela says, have you talked about the Harley? Sure enough, I actually did this time. But I do appreciate Akela. It keeps me in order and keeps things going, making sure I mention the Harley. But today I was on it. That extra 7 minutes of sleep, or was it 37? I don't know. Was it whatever? Stewie says, good morning. Want to ask you how police can break the law to enforce the law. What a great question. Well, first of all, we don't break the law to enforce the law unless you're talking about something that I'm not talking about. But when it comes to Highway Traffic Act enforcement, first off, you have to look at the road. Do you think people are breaking the law or following the law? If everyone followed the law, we'd not have an issue. But the average speed seems to be about 20 kilometers an hour over the posted speed limit. So obviously we need to at least be able to exceed the law for long enough to catch up to and monitor the people who are breaking it. So I have to be able to legally exceed the speed limit in order to catch speeders, to pursue speeders, to drive next to speeders to see if they're on their cell phones. I need to be able to do things. Now, it's not breaking the law. The law has actually got exemptions written into it so that I can lawfully conduct my duties as a police officer. So we're not breaking it. We're lawfully working within the confines of the rules. We're allowed to go through red lights, but we have certain things we must do in order to go through those red lights safely. We have to come to a complete stop. We have to activate our lights and sirens. We can then proceed if it's safe to do so. And then we can turn off our lights and sirens again. But it's specifically written into law allowing us to do those things because it's required so that we can do our jobs as police officers to protect the community and keep ourselves and the community safe. That's what it is. If there's other things you're talking about that I didn't cover, then feel free to ask more because I'm happy to talk about stuff and things. If you've got questions about traffic, if you've got questions about policing, if you've got questions about, donuts, I have an authority on all of these things. Okay. What do we got here? We've got, can you legally drive with an eye patch? Interesting question. I've had a couple of people ask me about having only one eye and whether or not it's legal. So in Ontario, there is a vision requirement, but if you only have one eye, the vision requirement applies to your available eye. So if you have one eye, or if you have a patch over one eye, you are still legally permitted to drive as long as that one eye meets the requirements for driving and or corrected vision. So if you require glasses for your single vision, you must be wearing glasses. But one or two eyes doesn't matter. Just because I'll throw it in there. There's also no requirement for hearing. We talk about hearing, oddly enough. People say you have to be able to hear sirens. It's nice to be able to hear sirens. It's not an actual requirement under law. Oh, here's an interesting question dealing with distracted driving. Can I get in trouble for having my phone on my lap while driving, even if it's off? Even if the battery is dead, that communication device on your lap is deemed to be in use. Now, people will argue and say, why? Well, why is a good question. Why is it in your lap? Why would you store it in your lap? Chances are it's functional and working. And the excuse of it's not working or it's turned off doesn't apply. You just put it there, or you're about to pick it up again, or it could become, it's not secured, so it could slide off your lap and interfere with your pedals. It's in the process or immediately. What is it? Immediately before, or immediately after use. It's believed to be in use. The courts have supported that it's in use. So if you're not using your phone, put it somewhere other than your lap. Put it in your pocket. Put it in your bag. Put it in your glove box. Put it somewhere out of reach and not be touching it, because we look at that and see it as use, and the courts support it. So yes, you can get in trouble, and it's a $615 fine, 3 demerit points, and 3-day suspension on conviction. Is that correct? I think it is. I haven't said the suspension in conjunction to that. It just felt odd. Maybe I've been away from the camera for too long. That's what it is. And hey, look at that. It's like Kayla is reading my mind. I assume that you said this before I actually said it, but I'm totally, we're like meeting of the minds here. Okay. Tim Shallow says, good morning. Good morning to you. What is this? What's the vision requirement for driving? Oh, actually, that's a good question. I don't know what the actual requirement is. Let me look that up for you in a moment. We've got scrolling. Things are updating really, 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 really quick. Good morning to Leo wife. My wife says hello. Big Jeff Fresh says good morning. And Dr. Nick wants to know what my thoughts are on no front plate. Well, I can tell you that legally you're required to display 2 plates in the province of Ontario, and that's a good thing because it doubles our opportunities to locate vehicles. It also doubles our opportunities to hold vehicles accountable should they decide to break the law. So whether we're trying to find a vehicle, trying to ensure that the vehicle is held accountable by automated enforcement or automatic license plate readers, it's a good thing and it is required under law. So if you have it on your vehicle, if you're issued 2 plates, you must display them. Inside the front windshield does not apply, although many people think it does. It is not an okay place to put things, but people continuously put it there and they will continuously get tickets for it. I am absolutely in favor of having dual front plates, or not dual front plates because that would be 2 front plates and nothing in the back. Dual plates, having 2 plates, twice as many chances of identifying a vehicle. Okay, we have some more questions to get into. What is this? Oh, Michael says that they're okay. Interesting. So there was somebody that Michael doesn't like because they were on Canada's worst driver. I got a speeding ticket yesterday for 15 over. Does that use any points? Okay. Points are a funny thing. People think that this directly impacts your insurance, and points or no points doesn't really matter. Any conviction is going to impact your insurance rating, or could impact your insurance rating. Under 15 kilometers an hour over, I believe, is considered a minor offense as opposed to a major. But any number of those is still going to be bad for your history, your driving history. Points don't actually kick in Ontario until 16 kilometers over the posted limit, at which point you would lose 3. So yeah, it's better because points is bad, but any speeding ticket is bad. Okay. While I look up something else, I'm going to talk to you about school buses, because school buses are important. And what am I looking at? Vision required. So I'm going to multitask here. I'm going to go to drivetest.ca. It was going to be much smoother when I did that and not talk about it. So in terms of divided highway school bus, if you're on a divided highway, whether it be a school bus or emergency vehicle, you're not required to stop or for a school bus or an emergency vehicle if they're on the opposite side of a divided highway. So what does it mean? What is a divided highway? That is where you have an actual barricade, green patch of grass, island of some kind. That's a division between lanes. So if you're on Highway 401, for instance, there's a divider. You can't change lanes, cross over the center line, go into oncoming traffic. That is a divided highway. Undivided highway, for the most part, Yonge Street. Anywhere where there's a painted line. So painted line, you pull over for an emergency vehicle coming in either direction. You stop for a school bus stopped on either side of the road. If you're talking about a divided road where there's that island in the center where you can't drive between without going off-roading, that would be one where you can't pass a school bus on the same side of you, but you don't have to stop for one on the opposite side. So I hope that clears things up. If it's not being clear, please let me know and we will delve deeper into that. Driver's licenses. Is it going to be your license over you? Blah, 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 blah. I'm just looking for where the acceptable. I'm looking for eye test stuff. If I can't find it easily, we'll have to go back. But drivetest.ca is going to have all the information for you. I don't actually know what your minimum requirements are. I know I could tell you what they are for police officers. Scrolling through here. I can't find it in 5, 4. Yeah, I can't find it. Have a look at drivetest.ca. A search of their website will likely provide you the answer you are seeking. Okay. Can you talk about the new police law going in for 2024 for recruits? Not sure what you're asking for. And if you mean the announcements that came out yesterday about no longer having to pay the tuition for police college or have a requirement for post-secondary, I can touch on it. Toronto Police never really had a requirement for post-secondary. There was a period of time when it was listed, but if you could demonstrate real-life experience, that it took care of that. I came out to the job without a degree. I went to post-secondary afterwards. So, yeah. When it comes to the tuition, it used to be something way back when that the individuals attending didn't pay, but it was paid for by the police service. And now or up until I guess yesterday, you had to pay $15,000 to go to police college, and now that's something that's going to be absorbed by the province. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if it was ever a roadblock to getting on because you got a guaranteed loan from the police credit union, or you get your own financing, and you got it. Would just for me, it came off my paycheck every 2 weeks until it was paid off. I would have paid anything to get the job. I was dedicated to the idea. So this is still great, but I don't know how much of an impact it makes for the people who are really motivated. Let's see here. How about one hand, one finger use of device? I think we're talking about the handheld communication device. The deal is that if your phone is mounted, you can press send or end to pick up or hang up a phone call. That's it. You can't type an email with one finger. It's send, end, momentary, and that includes a headset if you're pressing, on your Bluetooth, or if you're touching the screen of the device. That's it. You can't do more than that. You can't hold it while doing that. Okay. Do I have to? We talked about this already. A very, very good question. Very, very good. Very good. If you get pulled over, do you need your driver's license and insurance on you at the time, or can you show a pic? So the deal is this. If you are pulled over by a police officer, we're going to make a demand. You are going to get a demand for a license ownership and insurance. You will have to surrender an actual driver's license, the physical card. No photo is acceptable. Your insurance card can be your digital copy provided through an app provided by your insurance provider. Now, my provider doesn't give me an app. I have to have my pink slip. That's it. Now, you also have to show an original or a photocopy, true copy of both sides of your registration. That's it. Those three documents must be provided at the time. Photographs are not acceptable for any of them. Photocopy or original of your ownership, original of your paper or an electronic copy of your insurance, or your physical license card. Okay. Yesterday I got rear-ended, but both of the cars were okay. What should I have done? Well, what did you do? I couldn't tell you. I don't know what you did. Maybe you did exactly the right thing. If your vehicle sustained damage, or the combination of all the vehicles involved sustained over $2,000 damage, you'd need to go and report that to the collision reporting center. If you had no damage at all, it was just contact, that doesn't constitute a collision legally. Yes, they collided, there was contact, but it doesn't. If there was no damage and no injury, it's not considered a collision for the purposes of the Highway Traffic Act. So there's nothing to do. Now, you're legally obligated to exchange information with the other driver, but if you both sort of waved it off and that was it, then so be it. But if you were still responsible to exchange information, but it's not a reportable collision under $2,000 total damage. Now, if anybody was injured, that's a different story. Now, in terms of calling police and reporting the collision, that's all required based on hitting the threshold of $2,000. More information about that is available on tps.ca. You can see there's clicks and links and buttons that say, what to do in a collision, and all the instructions are there. We can talk more about it if you have more questions. Oh, yes. Akela says, if I record something and send it to you for May 4th, will you play it since volley ends before then? I am sure that could be arranged. Okay. Dakota, how many points do I start with? 0. You start with 0 points. It's like golf. The lower the points, the better you are. If you are a novice driver, it changed, like the total number of points before you're suspended changes. It's fewer required to get a suspension, to earn a suspension. Not that it's not a good thing. You don't want to win this game. We want to stay 0. So if you, as a novice, get one ticket with 4 points, you're instantly going to be seeing a suspension on conviction. But you can accumulate more than 4 points over a period of time through multiple tickets and still see a suspension. 0 is best. Okay, I pressed something here, and then I also looked down here. Okay. Phone can break, cables break, does not charge, or I forgot battery banks. What is this? Highly recommend carrying physical. So Michael's saying photos in response to the question about photos. So even if they made the law to allow electronic versions of your documents, Michael's very right. Your batteries can die, and guess what? You're still responsible for surrendering them, even if it's a digital copy when that law comes around. So originals, physical copies are going to be better than relying on electronics because bad things happen. And yeah, I like having a wallet with my stuff in it. That's just me. It also meets the requirements legally. Chase looked up the whole vision requirement. Thank you very much, Chase. Chase is a friend to the show, a longtime listener, but he's not the first time caller because he's submitted lots of audio questions by way of volley when we could do that. So the vision requirements apparently is a visual acuity not poorer than 20/50 and a horizontal visual field of at least 120 continuous degrees along the horizontal meridian. And that means very little to me because I'm not a doctor. But that's the answer. And hey, Big Jeff Fresh brought in a version of the answer too. Vision must not be poorer than 20/50 with both eyes opened and examined together with or without the aid of corrective lenses, 120. There you go. But again, if you have only one eye, then you must be able to meet the standard. Cool. I pressed it, then I pressed it again. What do we got here? Oh. What should I do if a driver refuses to give me their information in a collision, and do I really need to take a copy of their license? Take a copy? You need to exchange the information. Now, take a photocopy or a photocopy. If you have a photocopier in your vehicle, I'm impressed. If you take a photo of the license, it just makes for a quicker exchange of information. But if someone refuses to do it, it's a call to police. Then police have to attend and deal with the situation. If they leave the scene prior to police attending, it's a fail to remain situation where they fail to provide the information, and that's a problem. Yet you are obligated to. And the problem is when someone refuses to give you that information, that's a hint that there's possibly a licensing issue, an insurance issue, a problem of legality. There's somewhere there's something they're hiding. Otherwise, why would anyone refuse? It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. Okay. Question of, is it true that Alberta police is getting their own provincial police instead of officers coming from near far? I have no idea, Ryan. That's not something I've heard of. I don't know. I mean, there is a new police service. That's BC. That's Surrey. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Alberta, but we have a friend in Alberta. We should find out because they have RCMP for the most part, RCMP detachments. But that's a very good question to which I don't have an answer. Okay. Oh, F1 race lights. So is having an F1 style third, fourth brake light illegal in Ontario? In Manitoba, it's a bit of a gray area. So Starship wants to know about the flashing brake light that in Subarus go in the bottom center of the rear bumper. There's an area that's usually a reflector. Some people upgrade it and put a flashing light. I've been seeing rear brake lights that flash a few times and then go solid. Flashing brake lights that don't sparkle or aren't intermittently producing light and don't continuously stay flashing, like they flash and then go solid, no issue with those legally that I can find. I at one point thought there was an issue, looked into it, and it's very specifically when you drill down into what the definition of intermittent is, it has to be intermittent. That's that sparkle. And if you also consider the fact that some turn signals are flashing red lights, how do you then charge for a brake light that is flashing? So I have no issue with them. I think they draw our already distracted people on the road's attention. That's a positive thing. Do I look forward to seeing them on every car? No, I don't. It'd be annoying after that. Okay. Oh, my favorite question. Is it my favorite question? Why didn't it show it? Oh, because it shifted. Where'd it go? Okay, I got to scroll back. The question was, because I read it, is what happens if I get caught driving with a G1 and I'm alone? Where is it? I want to press the button. Where is it? Come on. I just saw it. It's like things moving, just shaking. Here we go. Hey, I found it. So if I only have a learner's permit and get caught driving alone, what will happen? Well, first of all, you're going to get charged for G1 drive unaccompanied. That is the first step. $110 ticket. You're also going to receive a 30-day suspension on conviction for your first offense. Your second offense, you're going to get a 90-day suspension. On your third offense, you are going to get kicked out of the graduate licensing program, and you don't deserve to be in it if you're violating this rule. Now, that's the first side of it. Secondly, the person who let you drive a car with only a learner's permit is going to be hunted down and charged by the police. We're going to go find them. We're going to charge them under the HTA. If they say, well, I never gave them permission to drive the car, well, guess what? That means take vehicle without consent. That's a criminal charge. We're going to come down and charge you criminally for taking the vehicle without consent. Now, that is all that happens if it's a good day. But if you've been involved in a collision, really bad things happen. See, you're not insured because you're not a licensed driver. Yes, you have a card that says license. Yes, you are allowed to drive whilst supervised by a qualified G driver. That means 4 years experience. But if you take the vehicle and you're just a G1, you have no status behind the wheel of the car when you're not accompanied, meaning that you are not a licensed driver and you are not going to be covered by insurance. So you're driving dad's, Mercedes. That car gets written off in a collision. Yeah, the liability will likely still get covered. Your car will not be repaired by your insurance company. They're going to tell you to go take a hike, and rightfully so, because you have no business being behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. I saw Logan. Logan says, and he, by the way, is a peace officer in Alberta, says they have not switched over yet and are still in the talks about doing so. Nothing official as of yet. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate the feedback. Glad that you're able to catch the show and weigh in. What is this? Oh, do city police accept civilian traffic footage to give tickets? It's not something that we just accept. You videotaped on your phone of somebody. It depends on what's going on. Depends on if we can identify a driver. Depends on what the nature of the offense is. Is it possible for us to lay charges based on evidence provided by others? Yes. Would you also need to testify as to the generation of that information to verify that under oath that it was you who recorded it at the time, date, and so on? So it's possible, but you'd be much more involved than you probably want to be. It's not just here's an email of a clip and it's done. Yeah. Noah wants to know, golf season's here, Sean. Some courses have roads running along some holes. Are you liable if you accidentally hit a car with a ball? I don't know how it works with I'm putting the question up on Instagram. If it's not on the road, I think you're liable if you cause damage to anything. But that's a really good question to which I'm guesstimating the answer. I'm going to assume if you hit something with a golf ball, you're going to be responsible. If there's intent, it's going to be one thing. If it's accidental, I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. I don't know. But it is a good question. Like if you're on private property in a golf course, there's going to be some element of you're at a golf course. Things happen. And it might just be something that comes out of their insurance. But it's a very good question to which I don't have an answer. Okay. Scrolling back. Here's a follow-up from Dr. Nick. Okay. Says, my dad does not have a front plate because it's a sharp piece of metal that could be fatal to a pedestrian. Also, manufacturers do not crash test their vehicles with front plates, which could make it unsafe. Your father removed the front license plate because it's metal that could hurt somebody. If they're concerned about hurting somebody with the license plate when they hit people, because that's what they're planning for, there's bigger problems. You are required to have a license plate on the front of your big, giant metal box that could kill people from striking them. The license plate is the least of your concerns. But I think it's a valiant effort to try and explain that away. It does not explain it away. You are required in this province to have it. If you don't have it, expect a ticket. If you get multiple tickets and you haven't responded, expect a summons to court. That's where I would escalate things. So instead of just a $110 ticket every time, it's going to be a no more ticket with a dollar sign. It's going to be a summons to court. Go explain it to a judge why you don't have enough respect for the law to follow it. And it's a great excuse. Don't get me wrong. I think it's very, very well thought out. Doesn't hold water. Okay. Is it true that if you're a cop, you're allowed to drink and drive? No. No one's allowed to drink and drive. Impaired operation by drug or alcohol is illegal for anyone. When we catch people, we charge them, police officer or not, and then they have to go deal with it. Now, what happens in court is what happens in court. But in terms of is it allowed? Absolutely not. We go to great lengths to dissuade the use of alcohol or drugs. It's just not acceptable by anybody. Chase also says vinyl wraps are not suitable for front plate. It cannot be a reasonable facsimile. I saw some very creative stuff on a Porsche. I have a TikTok where somebody had, I think it was a car and driver, put out a TikTok out, and they had a Porsche that had a vinyl or painted front bumper to represent their license plate. And I think that's creative, and I think that's actually pretty cool, but it's not legal. Okay. How long does it take for demerits to be removed from your license? That's a really good question. So, Travis, the answer is this. Your demerit points, once you are convicted, you pay a ticket or you're found guilty in court, you are going to have those points added to your license, and they come off automatically after 2 years from the date of the offense. Your conviction, however, remains on your license for 3 years from the date of conviction. So, slightly different clock, kind of confusing, but that's the deal. 2 years from the date of offense once they're applied. So it could take 2 years to go through court, at which point there would be the intention to apply them, but they would never actually hit your license because it's been over 2 years. Okay. Michael says, maybe do not hit pedestrians and the plate is not going to do much. Maybe someone should ride a bicycle if they're concerned about pedestrians. I don't know if that's fair, but definitely don't hit pedestrians. That part's fair. But riding a bicycle instead of, I don't know if that's the answer. Question, am I restricted driver if I get an M1 if I'm over 40 and have an AZ? If you get an M1 while operating an M1 vehicle, so a motorcycle, you fall under the learner's permit restrictions of the M1. If you're driving your AZ, you fall under the license requirements for an AZ. So if you're driving your truck and it's a full AZ, or you're driving a G-class license, you're not bound by the M1 restrictions. It's only when you're driving under the conditions of the M1, a motorcycle. Here. I love this question. Thank you for asking this question, because it's like the C's part, the light comes in. What's the difference between a cop typing on his laptop while driving and a normal person doing the same? Legally, lots. Actually, not very different. We don't have special superpowers that make it safer. But I can tell you that we have a good reason to use it. We are conducting work as a police officer. We are responding to information or getting information that is critical to public safety or officer safety. We must have access to information. People say, well, what about the radio? You have a radio. Well, a radio requires the same exemption under law for us to use as the laptop, as a cell phone. We're allowed to use all of those. You're not. And the difference is also that if one person in 100 is doing it, as opposed to every other car, it is far less risky. It's still risky. We acknowledge that using a cell phone, a laptop, a two-way radio is a distraction. Even thinking about something is a distraction, because distraction is the leading cause of collisions. So if you're humming the words to your favorite song and off in space, that's a distraction as well. But not to completely go off track. We need to do it. You don't. There's a legal exemption for us. You don't qualify for it. Now, there are people who qualify for it other than police, ambulance, fire, ham radio licensed operators. They are allowed to do things that other people can't. And that's it. So what's the difference? Still a risk. Would we ideally prefer someone to pull over if they could? Yes. But we have to have the ability to access information for public and officer safety, and just to be able to conduct our work. Now, automatic license plate readers is actually something that is making life a lot easier. When I was driving around, I used to have to type in manually the license plates to check people to ensure they're properly licensed while enforcing the Highway Traffic Act. I no longer need to do that if my vehicle is enabled with automatic license plate readers. So that's awesome. But I really appreciate you asking the question. And if I came off as snarky, I am. But I mean, it's something that really, I love these questions, because people are always looking for a point the finger at the police. Why should you be able to? We have to be able to do it. Just anyway, it's a topic I'm passionate about. Will college diploma make me stand apart when applying to be a constable with the Toronto Police? You're a competitor. So applying for a police service position is a competitive job search. If there are 10 positions and there's 10 applicants, you might all get hired if you all qualify. If there's 20 applicants for 10 positions, we have to weed people out. So if half of them have diplomas and are equally good as the other half who don't have diplomas, well, the people with diplomas will likely get hired over the equal person who doesn't. But you may still not get hired over somebody who is an exceptional applicant, and you have the diploma and somebody else doesn't. So it all depends. But is having a better education more is if you are a better applicant because you're the totality of your application, then you are a better applicant because of the totality. And I've never worked in employment, but I have to believe that, and from everything I've had a conversation about, is the best applicant is going to be the applicant that wins. And the question is, does this new announcement regarding waiving the tuition of Ontario Police College apply to municipal police colleges as well? The municipal police college doesn't. So Toronto Police College doesn't charge you a tuition. It's part of our training internally. The only tuition is the Ontario Police College. Oh, did I say Porsche instead of Porsche? I'm sorry, Chase. You know what? I have my days. Well, it's not the right. I pressed the button and it was the wrong button. Update happened just as I pressed. Here we go. I'm making Chase cry by saying Porsche. Sorry, Porsche instead of Porsche. It is Porsche. Oh well. And I used to correct other people, but sometimes in the moment I mispronounce things. Okay. What are the main differences between the RCMP and peace officers in regards to traffic stops, and are these different change in different provinces? Ryan. It absolutely, because RCMP doesn't really conduct traffic stops in Ontario. Police officers do that are local, municipal, or provincial. A peace officer is that's not really the best term, because peace officers, the mayor, when conducting his duties or their duties, is a peace officer. A parking enforcement officer is a peace officer when conduct. So it depends on what you're trying to describe. If you mean special constable, because special constables in Ontario anyway have different authorities under law than a police constable, and more so than a civilian. But a peace officer doesn't necessarily have arrest authority. But in certain provinces like Alberta, our friend Logan is a peace officer, which has the equivalent of special constable status, because he can write tickets. But it depends. Depends where you are. So absolutely, it's different rules in different places. Do they still consider immediate family when applying to Toronto Police? What's I don't know what you mean by consider immediate family when applying to Toronto Police. Background checks, they interview all sorts of people. They used to knock on doors and talk to your neighbors to find out if you're, were you the loud party, kid who caused problems growing up, or were you a good person? Like, they talk to everybody. They do an investigation. Expect your dirty laundry to be unearthed. Lucky Samra says, I have a breathalyzer installed in my car for 1 year. Can I allow to get the motorcycle license? You cannot operate a motor vehicle. If you have an interlock condition, you cannot operate a motor vehicle that does not have an interlock device installed. So I don't know how you would go about. I don't know if they're available for motorcycles, quite honestly, and I don't know if you'd be able to. Well, you wouldn't be able to operate a vehicle that didn't have one, because that vehicle would be eligible for being seized under the rules governing them. So, yeah, I'm going to say you should probably wait, but you need to double check what the rules are. I appreciate you're trying to do that with me, but I don't know if they make a motorcycle version. It'd be interesting. It's like $315 a month for each installation that you have of these devices. So if you're going to do that on a secondary vehicle, expect you're investing a lot of money. But yeah, I don't think you can. But now I want to look into it, because I'm curious. Okay, Ryan says, in Alberta we have RCMP and peace officers. Also part of why I asked if Alberta was getting their own municipal force. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Can you pass an unloading school bus if their stop sign is not out? Great question. The answer is no. You cannot you cannot pass a school bus if their lights are flashing, regardless of the stop sign. Stop sign is not part of the equation. It's an additional device to tell you to stop. But as soon as those red lights are flashing, because now we're a two-stage province, so which means that when the vehicle is still in motion, it used to be flashing while the vehicle was in motion. Now it used to be flashing red while it was vehicle in motion, and now it is flashing amber. Once that vehicle goes into flashing red, you cannot pass it, regardless of stop sign or not. Okay. talked about this. We talked about that. If you're watching this channel and you have no idea who I am, my name is Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, and I talk about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff. If you don't already follow us, please do. If you're watching on a platform that allows you to like and share, please do, because we want to get our messages out to as many people as possible. We want to share the love, and we do that with your assistance, really. If you're watching on TikTok, please tap that screen until your fingers go numb. It really helps the algorithm let people know that we're worth watching. Not a requirement, but it is a nice thing to do. We appreciate it. And yeah, did I mention follow us? Follow us. No, follow us. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 to 11, and that is the regular thing. Obviously, we weren't here Monday and Tuesday, but it's our goal to be here as much as possible. I've even been known to go live from the patio or balcony in my hotel on vacation. Yeah, I'm weird. Okay. And my wife will agree. Do emergency vehicles have to stop behind school bus stop signs in Ontario? Again, stop sign is irrelevant, but yes, emergency vehicles also need to stop for school buses. Why? Why would they have to stop? Because we are not psychic and cannot tell whether a child is going to run out in front of that bus because they believe that they are doing the safe and complete thing. Do we want a school bus operator to hear our sirens, grab the kids, lock it down, and turn off that stop sign to let us through? Yeah, because we're trying to go help someone. It could be the difference between life and death, but legally, we cannot do it. And what happens if a police officer, fire engine, or ambulance operator says, heck, I'm doing it anyway? They're taking that risk on their own and will not be protected in the event that bad things happen. I'm not going to suggest that it hasn't happened. I'm sure it has, but legally they cannot do it. And if it were to go south, they'd be in deep doo-doo. Can you register an old license plate to a new vehicle? Like how old? Who owns it? If it's your plate and you have it in the garage and you've had it for 40 years and it's just unattached but registered to you, sure. If it's registered to somebody else, is it possible to transfer it to you? Yes, you can. I didn't know this, but I've heard of people going and buying plates from other people because they have a vanity plate and they like it. They go offer money and the person says, I'll transfer it to you. And they do that. So things you never thought possible are possible. What is this? I see thousands of people abuse HOV lanes are these governed regularly? You see thousands of people abuse the HOV lanes. How does one know if they are being abused? Children qualify. So if they have a child in a child seat, I, for one, have to really look to see if anyone's in a child seat. So maybe you see thousands of parents driving in the HOV lane, which would be totally permissible. But yes, they are governed. And yes, they are, I should say, enforced. Is it the priority? They do blitzes, they do enforcement, but the priority is stuff that leads to serious injury and death. Now, also green plates. If you have a green plated vehicle, it qualifies to be there alone. If it's a bus or a taxi or a limo, they're qualified and permitted to be there alone. So it really depends on what you're talking about. But absolutely, it is. It is an enforceable thing where tickets get issued. Does my Class 5 license allow me to ride a motorcycle as long as... What? No. Well, first of all, you're talking about outside of the province of Ontario, but yeah, I'm going to tell you what it works like here. In Ontario, you must have an M1. You must have a specific motorcycle learner's permit to ride a motorcycle. That's it. That's all. Doesn't matter who's riding next to you because you cannot. No. Logan, if you're listening, maybe throw in a comment here, but or even I don't know. I was going to say bring him in for the last 10 minutes, but you're probably not ready to jump into a live stream. Yeah, let me know more about this Class 5, Ryan. Not Ryan, Logan. And Ryan, I can nearly guarantee you that unless you have a motorcycle learner's permit, whatever number goes with that in the province where you are, you cannot operate a motorcycle. Okay. Can you tell us more about how to become a police officer after what Doug said yesterday? I guess you mean Doug Ford. You apply. Now, going to our website is, of course, the best way to find out information about how to become a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. And I'll throw that on screen again because I can do that. But the deal is that you can become a police officer by applying. You actually have to meet some requirements. If we go to police constable, and I will come back to some traffic stuff in a second, but I want to cover this. It's important stuff. Traffic, you can go to TrafficHopca and information is there. You can go to tps.ca/careers, information is there. The minimum requirements, nothing's changed. You still have to apply. You still have to meet the minimum requirements. The only difference is that you no longer have to have, and maybe it was certain jurisdictions that had this because Toronto Police didn't force you to have a degree. It was a bonus, but you didn't have to have it. You have to meet all the requirements. And then the big thing is you don't have to pay the $15,000 roughly out of pocket to go to college or get a loan. It's covered now by the province. And I think he did also say those who graduated in January, they were going to make it retroactive and they would get their money back, which is awesome. But applying, you would go when there are opportunities to apply. And I think that's something that the posting is not currently open, but you can create a profile, you can upload your resume. And it's not just Toronto Police. Police agencies across the province are looking for people. I guess there's fewer people interested in doing the job and taking the risk and serving their community. It's like you're not going to buy a brand new Lambo by being a copper, but you're going to be able to contribute to your community in a meaningful way. And that's what this is all about. It's about giving back. Now we're paid very well. Cadet in training. So once you're hired, $67,680 until you graduate, when you're bumped up over $75,000. I mean, and so you get great benefits, you get vacation. There's all sorts of great things. All you got to do is meet the requirements and apply, and you're off to the races. It's not an easy thing, but it's a worthwhile thing. So good luck to you if you decide to do that. Okay, Logan says, Class 5, thank you, Logan, does not permit you to operate a motorcycle. You must have a valid Class 6. The only benefit you get from getting your 6 with a full 5 is that you don't have to start with the probationary phase on your 6. You're speaking another language to me, but okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Ryan. There you go. Thanks again, Logan. Okay, Samantha has a question. Would you suggest doing an advanced policing course in college? If you meet the requirements to apply, I would say apply. I wouldn't put off anything. I would apply. The reason being is right now there's lots of people. They're really doing a heavy push. They need lots of people. Maybe when you finish your degree, they won't be. You can always finish education later. Apply now. If you qualify, apply now. If you don't qualify, take courses, keep busy, improve yourself. But if you qualify to become a police officer today, and that's your goal, I would suggest applying today. I'm 46. Is it too late to apply? Tony, in my class, there were people over the age of 50. So absolutely not too late. If you are interested in becoming a police officer, there is an opportunity as long as you meet the requirements. Is a 3-wheeled motorcycle you sit in considered a car or a motorcycle? That is going to depend on where you are. If you're talking about like the boomerang, is it called the boomerang? That is a motorcycle according to law in Ontario. It is VINed as a motorcycle. There's something called a T-Rex that has a VIN number of a motorcycle, thus classified as a motorcycle, requires a helmet to be worn. Although some of these vehicles have an exemption, like why is it called a boomerang? I want to call it a boomerang. And if someone knows what it's actually called, please let me know. But the 3-wheeled motorcycles that you sit in have a steering wheel like a car. Let's do this. Boomerang. Boomerang. Car? Let's see here. Is it called a boomerang? No, it's something called a Maserati boomerang. What the heck is it called? I don't see it. Power Wheels boomerang? No, that's not what I'm looking for. What the heck is it called? It's called a... Somebody save me. What is this device called? Slingshot. Thank you. Who said that? Moto Windsor. Much appreciated. Slingshot. So Slingshot, yes, Polaris Slingshot. Could not remember that at all. Open air roadster. Put it on screen for those who want to see it. So I want to see pictures. I don't want to see advertisements. Okay. These are motorcycles and they require but there's an exemption allowing a 3-wheel or a license of a G-class license to operate them, but you must wear a helmet. They're cool. I've never operated one. I have given out lots of tickets to people who have chosen to operate them without a helmet on, but they are motorcycles. Spider is different. Spider are the 3-wheeled, look like snowmobiles, 2 wheels in the front, and it operates like a motorcycle. Those are absolutely motorcycles requiring a motorcycle license. Nothing given. There's no exemption allowing you to drive it with a G-class. Good morning, Constable. My secretary got charged for obstruct plate 13 sub 2 for keeping an expired plate sticker on, even though you're not required to keep them on. Is this still correct? Someone gave you a ticket for having a plate sticker? That's ridiculous. But yeah, I think that's ridiculous. There's nothing in law that says you've had to remove the stickers that I'm aware of. I think it's a bit of a stretch. Now, having there used to be a charge. I wonder if it's still in the books. No, there are still license plates that require stickers for commercials. So I think that was done improperly, I don't agree with that ticket. Putting it in the wrong place is affix a sticker not in accordance with the act, but that doesn't seem appropriate. Just me. Why is it illegal not to wear a helmet? Really? Why is it illegal not to wear a helmet? If I want to feel the breeze in my hair and accept the potential risks, who am I hurting? It's my choice. Well, Dr. Nick, we don't disagree. We disagree on many things, but it is illegal to not wear a helmet because a helmet is required equipment. That's it. There is an exemption for members who actively practice the Sikh faith. They don't have to wear a helmet, and there is a reason they made an application. And if you want to make an application for purposes of wind in your hair, you're welcome to try, but it is a requirement. And Dr. Nick follows up with saying, is it unlawful to drive without a shirt? No, it's not unlawful to drive without a shirt, although I would prefer if everyone did wear a shirt because some things you just don't need to see. Okay. Kalina Ferguson wants to know, where is the main 911 call center? Was thinking of applying. I can't give you the address. It's a secret location, but there's a location. It's in the city of Toronto, but I can't give you the address. It is available by way of transit, but I would definitely talk to a recruiter who can give you more information and still not give you the address because it's secret. Okay. Let's see here. Slingshot. Oh. What are the chances of being caught if I make TikToks while driving? Will anyone care? Yes, because it's distracted driving. And what are the chances? Well, I happen to have some numbers here as to how many people were charged for using their cell phones. I can give you those numbers, but I can't tell you how many of those were TikToks. And let me see here. I said that I could find it. So just under 4,000 tickets. Actually, that's only VZ who I can't pull these up. Way more tickets than 4,000. But Vision Zero Enforcement Team specifically handed out 4,000 tickets just amongst its members. So it's probably closer to I want to see. You know what? I'm not going to get you stats. We'll talk about it another time because I don't want to have to load applications to get it. Yes, we care. It's distracted driving. It's $615. It is 3 demerit points and 3-day suspension on your first conviction. On your second, it goes to 7 days. I think 7 demerit. 7? Maybe still 3 demerit, but it's 7-day suspension on your second. And getting caught with a camera with a screen on, especially if you're dancing while driving. Anyway, just saying, don't do it. It's not legal. It's not safe. And no one should. Don't use your phone. Now, if you have a camera, like a GoPro or something that doesn't have a screen visible, and it's recording you all day long, it's fine. And if you use that to make TikToks, it's fine. However, actively using your phone or having your phone with the screen visible is illegal. Logan says, Sean, I may have to stop coming to your show. Alberta audience is growing. Off topic, but what is this? I may have to stop coming on your show? Oh, my Alberta audience is growing. Got it. Now I figured it out. Oh, yes. I learned about that. So Ted Lasso, I thought that I saw the last episode and I was horribly unhappy. It was that cliffhanger disappointment. I was like, this can't be the end. But my wife, I think it's my wife who told me that. Somebody led me down the belief that it was not. But I did tweet about the fact that I was wrong and I was looking forward to the new episode. So that's tonight. I'm looking for it. Wait, last night's episode. Today's Wednesday. No spoilers. JD says no spoilers. Wait, last night's episode. How did you see it? I thought it was a Wednesday release. Well, anyway, now I know what I'm doing tonight. We can talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I thought it came out on Wednesdays. I didn't even realize it came out on Tuesdays. So Wednesday seems to be was Mandalorian, I thought it was also Ted. Okay. What is this? If you haven't watched Ghosted, it's so good. This is The Grinch. I did watch Ghosted. I loved Ghosted. It's on Apple TV. I was not at all expecting something that was that entertaining, and it was a lot of fun. Excuse me. How many demerits if you get caught? How many demerit points for that? What a good question. I don't know if there's any demerit points. The question being, excuse me, if you're having, if you're driving, okay, G1 unaccompanied. Let me look here. G1 unaccompanied, 0 points. And there you go. Is it going to work? Yeah, 0 points. Now, that's not to say it's a good thing. You got a 30-day license suspension on your first, 90-day on your second, and you get kicked out of the program on your third. But yeah, no demerit points. Maybe that's a good deal then. Let's see here. Michael says, in reference to operating motorboat to feel wind and hair, it's only a few hours of online course and online Transport Canada. Yeah. So there you go. Dr. Nick, you can go get a motorboat. No requirement to wear a helmet. Okay. Yes, Chase, just to follow up on this not wearing a helmet business, I had said that it's for qualifying members of the Sikh faith. They have to be wearing turbans. They have to be following all the points that require a turban to be worn. In fact, if we look at this, it's hang on, helmet, because it's now written right into law. So it says here, practices the Sikh religion, has unshorn hair, habitually wears a turban, at the time of driving is wearing a turban, and it goes on to say the same thing. So it's not just being of the faith, it is someone who wears a turban. Okay. Can you clarify if sitting at a red light and answering a text is distracting? Is it distracting? Well, it's illegal. The only time you can touch your phone to other than for the momentary activation or deactivation of a call is when you're legally parked. You can't be at a red light because your focus needs to be on driving. And people say, well, I'm not driving. I'm waiting at a red light. Well, you're supposed to be paying attention to everything around you. You're supposed to be listening and watching and paying attention, not writing a text to mom to find out what's for dinner. So it is absolutely illegal and qualifies for distracted driving under the Highway Traffic Act. Yes, yes, and yes. Don't do it. No. Michael says, just sit in front of a fan and operate bicycle or motorboat to feel wind and hair. Oh, this is, but yes, Dr. Nick, we can certainly be friends despite disagreeing on many things. Certainly not there's nothing personal here. It's all talking about the law and the rules. And no, I'm glad that you come out on a regular basis and participate. You make the show better, and I appreciate you. Okay. What is going on here? Talked about this, talked about that. I think we got it all covered. I think we did. And I didn't even do this at all. I did not have Chewie or the Ewok. Until just now. Oh gosh. Okay, what's that? How many demerits if you get caught? We talked about that. Okay. I think we're good. What is this one? Ryan, are the courthouses and here's the question. Are the courthouses in Toronto technologically advanced? In Alberta, my courthouse still uses CDs and refuses to use USB computers. I think this explains the never-ending backlog in traffic court. I don't think you can use. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if USB is an option. When I was in court last, it was CD evidence that we brought and played. I've not had somebody play their own. I've had people bring their own laptops and play, and you'd probably be able to, you hook it up to the reel-to-reel. No, I don't know what the courthouses are doing for technology, but they have certainly. We have a new courthouse that's being built and would be the state of the art. Billy Wang wants to know, can a 14-year-old driver an e-motorcycle? So an electric motorcycle is a motorcycle. And if you're talking about on the road, if it's a motorcycle, like a Harley Davidson electric motorcycle, it needs to be licensed. And to get a motorcycle license, you must be 16. So the answer is no. In fact, if it's an e-bike, it's no, because you have to be 16 to operate an e-bike. Now, of course, we're talking about on the road. On private property, the rules don't apply, because on private property, you can have a gas-powered dirt bike and a child can ride it with parental consent and so on. Was it a good idea? That's a different situation. Now, in other provinces, maybe there's different rules, but in Ontario, you must be 16 years old to operate an e-bicycle. Never mind the motorcycle, and no one should be. Those e-bike rip-off looking things that aren't motorcycles, that look like motorcycles, that with modification, simple modification, exceed 80 kilometers an hour. Not cool. Chase says, I saw someone on TikTok saying that the Highway Traffic Act does not apply to them because they did not sign it. Like they didn't sign the Highway Traffic Act, like each copy, or that they themselves didn't sign it. There are some people with some very interesting views on the world. That doesn't make them right. A lot of people who say they don't apply to any rules. They say that their name isn't their name; it's a corporation. Like there's so many baloney things. Are you allowed to wear headphones while riding a motorcycle? There are headphones wired into some helmets. It's not illegal to cover your ears in Ontario. Listen, hearing is better than not hearing. If you block your ears and listen to music, could it be a distraction? Could it get you killed? Yeah, it could. Not illegal. In other provinces, it is illegal to cover more than one ear. So you need to know the provincial laws where you are operating a motor vehicle. Grant says, in my region, I supply video evidence by means of USB. There is also a new system coming at the end of the month that all disclosure will be submitted online. So yeah, there you go. Things are changing. Advancements in technology, but I do have an extra Betamax tape if anyone's looking for it. I found some blank DVD CDRs and DVDRs. I donated a whole bunch of them to the Salvation Army yesterday. I went emptied my truck into a big blue bin and got myself a coupon for 20% off of other people's stuff. If I decide that I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff. That's what's happening. Saying goodbye to stuff and things. Postman Fab wants to know, how long until a ticket is void? Almost a year now with no court date. So there have been delays because of COVID. We're still experiencing them. There was a lot of stuff that's happened, and the courts will certainly look at things on a case-by-case basis, but a year is not a guaranteed void. I would contact the courts and say, hey, I'm waiting for my stuff and it hasn't arrived. What's up with that? But beyond asking and confirming, there's no assumption that it's gone. You likely need to make an application saying that it was unreasonable delay, and I believe it's being extended to 2 years, not 1 year, so you're likely waiting still. Honey Singh Lubana asks, sir, having a police radar detector in car is fine in Ontario or not? Fine? Is it a fine, or is it fine to have? They're absolutely illegal. It's a $170 charge under the HTA. There is a 3 demerit points. I used to think it was 2 demerit points for some reason. It was either amended or it was always wrong. In any case, we have full search seizure authority. So if we believe you have one, we can stop you. We can search the vehicle looking for it. We would seize it. You would be charged, and that would be it. You're not allowed to buy it, sell it, transport it, use it. That's the story. Okay. Logan says, go get a motorboat. What else? I think we're good. I think we covered. I think we're up to date. Yeah. If there's stuff that it's impending, I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat to see what's going on there. Oh, then we have the people who ask silly questions knowing that they are silly questions. Tiana's suggesting illegal activity. They're promoting criminal activity. In fact, that's against the law, by the way. Well, not promoting it. I guess they're asking silly questions, but it's still. Liam identifies as a farm animal. That's interesting. What is one of the craziest stories in my career? Stan wants to know. You know what? I there's so many, but I don't really get into those stories. I do have a bunch of dad jokes that we haven't read. So, Dad, I made a frozen pizza for dinner. Dad says, well, why didn't you cook it? That's actually not a bad. It's not bad. As far as dad jokes go, it's not bad. Saturday, Sunday. You know, learning how to collect litter wasn't all that hard. I just picked it up as I went along. It's not bad. I asked my priest to bless an avocado. Now we have holy guacamole. I don't know. How do planets entertain themselves? They read comic books. Tuesday, we're almost up to date. Dad, I decided to start a herb garden. Well, it's about time. It's not bad. I actually like that one for the gardeners. And finally, to be up to date, Wednesday, the 26th of April, to the person who stole my glasses, I promise I will find you. I have contacts. I love this one. That might be my favorite. I like that one a lot. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. I'm checking out things here. If you missed it last week, I actually rewired stuff. I have the traffic song, which I will play, and I will not mute it this time because I pressed the wrong button, thinking because I had the boss here and I had to talk to him, and I pressed the wrong button. And I muted the song and never actually played it, just watched me meander around on the screen for a few minutes. So I will not make that mistake again. But I will answer this question for Ryan. Opinion on dash cameras. Are they legal? Well, I hope they're legal. I have one in my car. I absolutely endorse and promote the concept and use of dash cameras. I think they're magical. I have a front and rear facing camera in my vehicle. They are the best way to get an independent recording of what actually happened. Because when you're in a collision, when something happens, you get your version under stress and their version under stress. And those don't always meet up. So they always say that there's three truths: your truth, their truth, and the actual truth, what actually happened. Video cameras are the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to getting an accurate representation of the events that took place in a collision. So I think that everyone should have them. Now, granted, it may hurt you, it may help you. It depends on whether or not you were at fault. But I think they're the best thing to have, and I wouldn't drive without one at all. Okay. With that, let's listen to the traffic song and say goodbye. We'll be back tomorrow from 10 to 11. And then we may also be back in the afternoon for a short one. But have a great day. Be safe out there.
Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow. Watch for pedestrians, look out for bikes, and don't drive like a jerk that no one likes. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Put down your cell phone, nobody needs you to text and drive on the DVP. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Stop at stop signs, look both ways, then go. Seatbelt, save your life indeed. And watch your driving, don't speed. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely is the way to go. Don't drink and drive or smoke some weed, because you might go to jail and not get free. Yellow light, red light, green light, go. Driving safely helps the traffic flow.
I love that song. And I appreciate the I got your 6 message that I got from Kalena. So thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's hung out with us, spent an hour of their time learning and sharing and chatting. It's been fun. It always is fun. I have a lot of fun. And I hope you did too. We'll be back tomorrow. What did I just press? Okay, I turned it off. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Like I said, So if you are available, we'd love to see you again, and we will be here regardless. Have a great day.